G'day guys, and welcome to a video on all the gear that I use inside the hunting scene. Got quite a bit of gear, collected quite a bit of gear over the 15 years, tested and used a lot of gear, and have kind of honed what I think suits me really well. So it being midwinter, I wanted to go through and make a video of all the different things that I use, that being overnighters, day hunts, and multi-day, sort of 4 to 5 day hunts as well. So I think you'll enjoy this. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time, but haven't really actually set out everything to do this. If there's anything that you want to know more detail about, just let me know in the comments. I'm quite happy to do videos on one-off items, maybe a few. If there's 3 or 4 questions, I'll maybe do that in one more video, and we can go into that. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on details on the individual products. I'll just show you, this is what I use, this is why I use it, and then it'll go off the table as I got quite a bit of gear to get through in this video. So the video will be broken up into chapters as well, and you'll be able to look through and move around and rewatch things that you want to see. So I hope you enjoy this. Let's not muck around, let's get straight into the video. Okay, first things first, packs. Right, we'll start with my smallest, most basic pack that I like to use. That I've just recently acquired this as well. This is a Helicon Tex, I believe it's called the Foxtrot, and pretty much it's sort of like a glorified lumber pack, bum bag. I've got the bushbuck quick release scabbard on there as well, and so the rifle sort of sits like that, slings up right in behind my neck. So I use this as my morning hunt kind of day pack, and I can fit all my gear in there that I need. But yeah, that's a good piece of kit that I do enjoy using on my morning hunts. Okay, moving up in the pack size. This is a Ridgeline. I believe it's a 30. It's called a 35 litre day plus pack, and so it's 35 litres. And this puppy here serves me well for just a summer overnighter. I can do winter in them as well, but it gets a little bit squishy. So summer overnighter, where I'm just taking a puffer jacket kind of thing, and again comes with it. Oh mate, there's a lot of foliage in there. Shoot. Comes with this rifle scabbard system as well. Again, it's lightweight, it's under 1 kilo, it's got a frame in it. I've carried a fair bit of meat in this thing as well, and it's all good. Right, moving up into this pack here. This is Ridgeline's 45 litre hybrid pack. This has been a really good pack. It's been a really good pack. So I've reviewed this pack, and I've used this pack for quite a long time now. And it's a 45 litre, but yeah, I can get four days of hunting out of this quite comfortably. That's not hut hunting. I don't really stay in huts, so that would be tent, fly, all of that sort of thing in this pack. So yeah, good pack. Weighs 1.4 kilos, and yeah, this is a really decent pack. So this is sort of my multi-day or winter. I'll just carry this in winter because I know I can get everything in there quite easily. Yeah, decent pack, this pack. Yep. Now, okay, my last pack that I am still testing, which is a little bit different for me, I'd call this a tramping pack. This is the Bonfis 48 litre. It's a pack made out of Dyneema fabric, and like I do with all my gear, I'm always kind of trying and trying things and different things because I like that. But this pack here, like I've taken it for 2 hunts so far and I've been pretty impressed with it. It's quite a bit lighter than this 45 litre Ridgeline pack, but it really can probably only carry 22 to 23 kilos of weight. But in saying that, I'd call this my kind of trophy hunting pack. So if I was going for a meat hunt, I wouldn't take this because I don't think it would stand up to hauling, you know, a 35 or 40 kilo load. But this is a really, really well made pack, and I'm sort of looking to make a rifle scabbard system for it, a bit of a custom thing, but just researching about stitching through Dyneema and how to seam seal all that back up. But yeah, this is an interesting pack. Like, it's a lot more comfortable than the Ridgeline packs. It's also framed as well. I can't really remember what it weighs. I think for a 48 litre pack, I believe it's under a kilo. I believe it's around 800 grams. And yeah, it's really, I'd really like to like it, but I've got to do more testing with it. I've tested it in the shower. That's where I test all my waterproof gear. And the fabric is waterproof. So this puppy stay dry as a bone, which is pretty impressive. So yeah, pretty cool, guys. Pretty cool pack. Like, it's got big things for your trekking poles. I can slide my tent in this one here, but just trying to figure out how to scabbard the rifle to it nicely without putting too much strain on it is the tricky part with using a tramping pack. But I've used Dyneema fabrics for a couple of years now, good 3 or 4 years, and I've been very impressed with them. So yeah, this is a real special pack. That's my packs. I only have up to 48 litre packs, and I can get 4 or 5 days hunting out of that quite comfortably. So probably points you in the direction that all my gear is pretty compact and small. And so next up we're going to go into clothing. Okay, so topic of clothing, I will split into hunting clothing and then round the camp clothing. So in terms of base layers, what I usually use is I take if I'm going multi-day and it's cold, I'll take a set of base layers, and these ones here are actually just cheap MacPack synthetics, and I've found testing synthetic versus merino, I actually prefer the synthetic because they just tend to dry quicker, and these are not really meant to keep you warm, they're just meant to wick moisture away from you. So I'll take a rotating pair of these. So one for sleeping in, which I'll usually sleep in and get up the next day hunting them, and then rotate. These ones will stay back at camp drying. So I take two pairs, top and bottoms of those, and that's my base layer there. Pretty simple. Then in terms of hunting clothing, obviously I really do like the Ridgeline clothing. I found it really good. So I just wear a Ridgeline t-shirt. Now these have an SPF rating of 40, so that gives you an idea when they're pretty thin and they're very, very lightweight, but I find that they dry really, really fast. So and just pack up crazy small. So if I'm going to be in a t-shirt in summer and things, I actually want it to be like just a t-shirt, just nothing. I don't want anything extra. So there you go, Ridgeline t-shirt I use. And even if I go 5 days hunting, I just take one t-shirt. So yeah, you don't want to hang out with me for too long on a multi-day hike because it gets a bit woo. But then I've got a long sleeve, same material, long sleeve with a bit of a collar. And again, I've used these a lot, and this would be more like my spring kind of winter shirt. I wouldn't even take that t-shirt because if I know it's winter. The cool thing with this stuff is you can really see the elasticity in the fabric's really good, and it's also got a ripstop weave through it. So I've given this stuff a pretty hard time, and it's pretty strong. I've been surprised. So it's light, it's strong. But there you go, 2 t-shirts, totally small. My pants are a bit of a consumable for me. I do go through them a little bit, but to be honest, these pants by Ridgeline here, so these are the stealth trousers, and the one gripe that gets me with pants, I had some Hunter's Element ones, is they feel really good until you get them wet, and then they start to sag, but these really don't do that. They've discoloured a little bit, but these get a hard time, and they're great. There's nothing wrong with them. So that's usually all I wear on the bottoms. It's just pants, t-shirt. I don't like my legs, like if it's spring, summer, I'm shorts. So yeah, for me to wear pants is a bit of it's a bit different. So I don't get all these fancy trousers and stuff, and I just bust them up. So that's all good. Right, so there's your kind of your mid layer there. Then I really love my jackets. So what I use for jackets, I've got 3. Again, all Ridgeline. This one here is it's a 3M synthetic puffer jacket, and it's really, this is kind of, I wear this most of the time. I'll take this always, even in summer. It's quite light as well, and it's just like does such a good job. And I have actually done a little bit of, kind of accidentally done a bit of hunting in it, and then you realise, oh, I can't be walking around in the bush with a puffer jacket, but it's fine. Like, it's really strong. So that's like a really pinnacle garment for me there, that hunting puffer jacket, and that's really great. Combined with this here, this is a waffle woven soft shell waterproof jacket, and again, puffer's not waterproof, by the way, which I actually prefer because I think puffers need to be able to breathe properly. But yeah, this is a soft shell from Ridgeline, and again, it's tested it in the shower, no issues, man. Like, this is a good jacket. Chassis's all, even the zips are all waterproof as well, and yeah, this thing cuts the wind like crazy, and I really appreciate this jacket. Obviously, I'd only take this when it gets pretty cold, but this is just a great jacket that I like to use as well. So, and then to top it off, I don't really like waterproof jackets that are insulated. I'd rather have a couple of layers on than have this big cumbersome kilo jacket that once it gets wet, you're done. So I actually try not to let that get wet on multi-day hunts. So what I actually like is this pack light system from Ridgeline, and I've always preferred this kind of outer shell layer. It's not, if I'm bush hunting, I'll wear the soft shell, obviously, but if I'm really out there, I just want a lightweight jacket system that's tiny as well, that I can just pop on over the top of everything. So this pack light system runs over the top of my boots, so I've got the legs and the jacket as well, and I just whack it on, and there you go. This is extremely, I think for the set, it's like 500 grams. Packs down, I can get both garments into this little bag here, and she's all waterproof to 10,000 mils hydrostatic head. So that's what I use for my jacket system. I don't want to rely on my shell to give me my warmth as well. I just would prefer that I can chuck something on over my good warm layers, and away we go. So even if I do some scrub bashing in that, I will actually put those on, and then try and keep all this stuff dry. In terms of some extras, I usually take just a cheap MacPack vest. So they're like 180 grams. They're packed down to just nothing, and you know, if I'm sleeping a bit cold, or in the first thing in the morning, I'll put that on underneath one of these jackets just to give me a little bit more insulation, and that's pretty much all I do. So for around camp, I'll also wear this jacket. Oh no, so I'll stick with the hunting. So for hunting as well, I use the Ridgeline gloves here, and they're good for just grabbing onto, you know, as you're climbing up, just grabbing onto stuff. And they're pretty good gloves. There's nothing wrong with them. The only thing is that they had a touchpad here for when you're looking at your phone and your GPS, but I'd say on the first hunting trip it was just gone. So yeah, if you're trying to use your phone or something like that, scroll around on maps, you do have to take the glove off every time, but I guess that's just one of those things. So there you go, some gloves. In terms of socks, I use the Grease Sport. They're a high leg sock to match my high leg boots, and I also run a sock liner underneath those as well, and I'll just take 2 sock liners and 2 pairs of socks. Doesn't matter how many days I go for, so they dry out really quick as well, so that's really cool. A few little extra bits, like I thought this was the most dorkiest thing ever, this Bleeny thing from Ridgeline, but actually, like, it looks stupid, I'll admit, but actually after I used it on the tops and that, I actually really liked it. So it just keeps the wind off your head, and it's the windproof fabric, same as the soft shell, and it works really well. And then when you don't want it, I just pull it down and it just sort of sits back like a hoodie, and it's good. It's actually quite thought out. So that one took me by surprise a bit. Now in terms of, that's my hunting clothing. That's all that I really use. I've got extra garments in my workshop area, but I don't really use them because I just find that this system works just good enough for me. So that's that. In terms of around the camp clothing, so again, I'll usually just wear one of my base layers back at camp, change out of it. I'll just wear a puffer jacket like this. I've got another, just a backpack one as well, and set of Ridgeline merino gloves. I'll chuck those on, and they sort of stay back at camp, so they stay dry. Here's an interesting one. Down booties. Down booty. There's no D in it. These are really neat. They're like 70 grams, and they've got a little sole on the bottom. They're down, so I think they're like 800 fill power down, and they're roasty toasty, man. I often wear them in bed as well, like when I'm going to bed, because they're just nice. And then these puppies here, this is a puffer pants that I wear, same brand as these, and these are just super cozy and warm, and for like 200 grams, and they pack down to, you know, really small. That's what I keep back at camp for the evening. So there you go, that's my clothing, and it's about as complicated as it gets. Okay, next up is boots. So I use these are the Crispy Hunters, and for years before these I used the Crispy Titans, and so these have been really good boots to me. Both of them have been. I've talked about it a little bit before, but I really don't like gaiters, so I go for a high leg. You know, these are Gore-Tex waterproof right up to the rim. Go for a high leg boot because it just gets me most of the way up to a gaiter anyway, and yeah, so I find these really good, and definitely put some K's on these boots. So there you go, that's what I use, Crispy Hunters. One thing I would recommend as well is, if you can, when you go and buy your boots, Crispy and Andrews, you know, they've got these boot dryers that they sell, and then I also use, pretty religiously actually, I use this Fennis waterproofing cream. So So basically, after every trip, I mean, you invest a lot into these. These are $750 boots, and it's just the same. You've got to treat them the same as your rifle, really. When you get back in, just give them every now and then, like I'd give them a good scrub up, especially after a big long trip. Give them a good scrub up, pull the laces right out, scrub all the dirt out of there, and hit them with some of this. And I also chuck them on the boot dryer after every trip, just to make sure I get all that moisture, because being Gore-Tex, not the most breathable material, so get all that moisture that's in there out, get all the sweat and all that stuff out of there, and then hit them with some Fennis foot cream, and the leather just stays really, really nice on them. So there you go, that's my boots. Okay, so sleep systems. I've got quite a few different sleeping systems and setups and arrangements. So what I'm going to start with is my most commonly used system, that is for below the bush line. So in the trees, sort of low, like alpine line and lower. So my number one that I go to is this puppy here. This is my tarp, basically. This here is a Dyneema fabric, specifically designed for hammock tarp, but you can also use it in an A-frame setup as well. So generally this comes with me everywhere I go. This puppy is very light, it weighs 180 grams I believe, and it's specifically designed for a single person hammock, and it has some doors that close in around the hammock as well. So there you go, DCF, Dyneema composite fabric tarp, which, to be honest, I've been fly camping with guys and we have done some crazy winds in it, and I've ripped it and repaired it, and if it was sil poly or sil nylon, it would have been toast. So that's just a big investment, but I've been anxiously impressed with it. So I've had it 4 years-ish, something like that, and really used it, and nothing bad to say about it. It's an amazing piece of equipment. So that brings me to my hammock. So I use a pretty basic little Cedar Summit hammock kit. Cedar Summit have done some great things for us. So I believe the straps are 170 grams and the hammock's 155 grams. It is a short little hammock, so but I just find as long as you set it up pretty well, I don't really have any issues with the comfort. So it's not I think it's an 8-foot hammock they call it, not a 10, but again, just tiny, compact, and goes well with my fly. So in terms of what insulation I use around my hammock, I was using a mummy pod style sleeping bag from Outdoor Vitals, but recently just bit the bullet and got some of these. Right, got some of this here. So the reason why I bit the bullet and went for some hammock gear down was because my daughters are starting to get into tramping with me and a bit of hunting, so they're actually using my old sleeping bag stock. So so I can double this up. If I go out with them, I can just take the quilt, I can give the underquilt to one of my girls, and I can also use it in my other sleep system as well, so it all sort of doubles up. But basically, yeah, this is a -1 950 fill power 7D top quilt. Now it's a quilt, and so you'll see there's the inner, there's the outer, that goes on. I use that with a sleeping pad, but I also use that in my hammock, and that's an amazing product. Like, yeah, it's phenomenal how good it is. So even though it's rated to -1, generally below the tree line, I'm not getting down that cold anyway, but I can also double up. I'll just go get it. My underquilt. So your insulation in your hammock, you need something underneath, and you need something on top. So this is an underquilt here. So this clips to the underside of the hammock. It's also rated to -1, and it's got all the cords and the cables. But if I go into the alpine area, you know, having a quilt to -1 is probably not quite going to do it. So what I actually do is I take both of these quilts with me. They only weigh 450 grams each, and then I basically double wrap myself there. So lie under the underquilt, wrap that one right around, and super snug, super snug. So that's how I work my insulation to go across my different platforms instead of having 2 different sleeping bags and things. So yeah, this puppy here will get me 3 seasons. If I really want to go out and stay warm, then I'll just take both. Winter hunting, you carry a bit more gear anyway, so that's my insulation. Right, get rid of that. There you go. Oh, and I always take a Sea to Summit air inflatable pillow. You just started using one of those, and I'm just getting old. So that goes with me too. And then in terms of tarp ropes and things like that, I use Dyneema reflective guy line, and I've also got a larger guy line that I use for my ridge line, and it all clips on there nicely with the fly, and away I go. So there you go, some ropes and tarps. I don't really take pegs because I'm usually tying off my tarp to trees. The reason why I love the hammock so much is because I'm not bound to look for a campsite. Like, I've camped in my hammock on some of the craziest inclines, like literally talking 45 degrees, because I would just want to get out of the wind, and I can just tuck in wherever I want. As long as there's 2 trees 5 meters apart, I'm happy. So that's really neat. So another system I will use if I kind of like going summer, and I'm probably going to the tops or somewhere open, I will take sometimes my trekking poles, and I have got a rope kit that I can set the fly up underneath the trekking poles really, really nicely. To be honest, I don't really do that much. I've got a bathtub floor that I peg out under there as well, but I don't really use it that much because the tents these days, they're so good, you may as well just take a tent. So I've done it a few times, just trying to sort of go ultra light, but yeah, I'd say for the 2 seasons that I use it, it's probably not really worth having. So that's that. In terms of sleeping pad, so I'll use this when I go on the ground, which I try not to go on the ground, try and stay in the hammock. But if I'm going where I know the trees are a little bit underwhelming or above the alpine line, this is a big Agnes insulated sleeping pad, so that's rated down to -10 degrees, so that keeps me nice and toasty. Yeah. Right, tents. I do have a couple of tents. I'm a little bit undecided, to be honest. So I've got my Bobcat OEX Bobcat 1, which is, this is like a 2 kilo tent, but it is legitimately a 4-season tent. Being a 4-season tent, it suffers from quite bad condensation, but it is warm. It is a warm tent, and this thing is a brute. Like, it will take a hiding. So it's got, I think, 15 tie-out points on it as well. So you need 15 stakes, pegs, whatever you call them, to put this up. And I have been in gale winds, and it just doesn't move. Like, you don't even know what's going on outside. It does have a weak point, but I'll just leave that. You sort of need to set it up with a trekking pole to get the angles nicely, but we'll just leave that for now. Which brings me to my Nemo Hornet tent. Now, this tent just I haven't tested it, but I want to, but it makes me feel quite anxious because yep, it is under a kilo. It is so incredibly lightweight, and I can see that it would breathe really, really well, but I would honestly call this a 2-season tent in New Zealand because I think this thing is a bit of a liability. It's made out of 10D ripstop nylon, and I can just imagine the keyers, and I just cannot see how this is going to put up with any sort of wind, but time will tell. I will try it out in the summer. I'll probably leave it set up on the lawn for a week when it's really windy, because I just don't want to be in this tent when it goes wrong. So there's my two tents that I use. So your 2-season, I'd call it. I can't call it a 3-season in New Zealand. Living in the most windiest city in the world, in Wellington, it just freaks me out, a tent like this. And then, yeah, so I'm contemplating whether I take this on my next tar trip. But I'm just like, I don't want to die. So I'll probably take Big Boy, my big tent, and leave it at that. But there you go, that's my sleep systems. Again, any questions, fire away. Because yeah, there's some pretty modern gear here, and I've tested most of it, apart from this, pretty extensively. So. Okay, so then just a little bit of, before I get into camp gear, I'll quickly do my binocular harness, because I've recently changed this. So this is a Helicon Numbat chest rig, so a very military style chest rig. And here's my old Ridgeline Kahu binocular harness, which, hey, was great with these little pouch things on the side. This was really great, but I decided that I really wanted something. There you go, you can see the difference. I wanted something, I like the flatness of this, but I wanted something really wide, because I really wanted to fit a few specific things inside of there. So I kind of missed that, because it's really a really great harness, and I'm just trialing this for now, and found it's really good. But basically it means I can hold my cameras, my rangefinder and binoculars and tripods and all sorts, actually all in this one rig. So if you actually look inside there, I've got my binoculars, I've got my rangefinder. I don't have my camera in there because I'm using it, but yeah, a little bit of chapstick, there's pockets everywhere in here, and yeah, I've just grown to really love this style, the optics cloth, and grown to love this style of rig instead. So that's what I actually use now. So that's it's cool. It's a really cool piece of kit. Okay, just to go over a little bit of extra hunting stuff that I use. So this is my headlamp, and it's an Army Tech Wizard, and I've had this for a very long time. I actually used to import these directly from Canada myself and sell them, but I believe the contracted rights went to New Zealand Ammunition, which is fine. But yeah, these are really, really good headlamps, and I don't carry a spare battery. All I do is carry the little magnetic USB charging cable, but to be honest, a week-long hunting with this is not an issue. So that's my headlamp there. In terms of, I just carry a basic folding knife. It's just a buck knife. Don't ever buy a knife that's camo, because you leave it on the ground and you lose it all the time. So I probably should put like a bright pink or orange tag on there, but that's just my knife that does all the hard yards. I carry a very little, just cheap sort of slice through sharpener from hunting and fishing, and that's all I use. An old vacuum cleaner pipe's my roaring horn. That's it. Works. What else? In terms of hunting kit, that's probably about it there. I'm going to go over optics. Well, I'll quickly touch on what's in my pack. So these are a set of Maven 8x30 binoculars. They're B class binoculars, and love them. Kind of that balance between real high glass quality and lightweight. But yeah, you really notice the difference when you pull binoculars to your face for a couple of hours. So these have a real they have a very good ability to be comfortable for that long. So, and then my rangefinder is the Maven RF1, and that sits in there too. So my optics that sit in the front with me at all times, and I actually usually have a little mini tripod that sits in there too, and that's just handy if I want to set the Maven rangefinder up on it, or put my phone on there and just snap a photo. Sits right on my chest, ready to go. So that's cool. Right, in terms of my water and cooking system, so here's my cook system, and this is my water system. But before we go any further, one thing MTM Matt has come out with is this little fuel canister refiller. So I always used to be a bit like, oh, I should always take a big one, you know, big 400 gram fuel canister. Well, now what I do is I had a whole bunch of fuel canisters that were kind of like, oh, I'll save that for an overnighter because it'll be fine. And then, no. This little puppy here changes all of that. So I never take a big canister anymore. I always take a little one. I'll get 4 or 5 days out of this. So what I actually do is sort of, I chuck about 130 grams of gas in there. And they're meant to get about 110, but I sort of overfill them just the night before I go. Just do the fill. Put this one in the how does it work? This one in the heat pump, by the heat pump. This one in the freezer, and it just transfers the gas as you open that valve. So yeah, never take 400 grams of gas with me ever anymore. So in terms of cook gear, it's pretty basic. I've never seen the need to get a jet boil or anything like that. So obviously I just have this little canister stabilizer. So I think that's the same as what your jet boils click onto there. And then I have this tiny little titanium cooker. And I always take flint to get my cooker going because lighters are a bit temperamental. I use a lighter for checking the wind and that's it. And then there's my little billy, so I can boil probably about 400 mils of water in that, and that's all I use. It all just goes in there, super compact. And then my cup, expandable cup, just goes on top and locks that puppy all in there. It's done. That's my cooking system. That's all I've ever used for 10 years. And I've never had an issue with it. It's always been reliable. Again, super lightweight, super compact. I don't want to carry a jet boil unless I really have to, but I've been up at altitudes and I've never noticed anything being an issue. So it may become an issue as they start making this gas more butane and less isoprotane or whatever it's called. Yeah, but whatever. So there you go. In terms of water, I ditched the hydration bladder a long time ago. Just didn't like it. So obviously if there's a place where there's a lot of water, I usually carry 2 of these little flexi bottles. They're a litre each, and I carry this in my chest rig. So whenever I want to stop and just have a slurp, I can just drink anything. And it tastes great. I've had these for actually over 10 years. And by a chance, I bought them off eBay. They actually screw to my filter as well. So I can actually just fill that up and just drink away and off I go. Now when I get to the tops of usually where I hunt, there's not a lot of water around up there. It's pretty rocky and steep. I've got springs marked out on the map, but they're not really reliable all year round. So what I'll do is I'll find a dirty puddle and I'll actually syringe out that puddle. Yep, put it into this bottle, filter out. Done. So I know I can always find water. So even a wallow, you can actually syringe it all out or scoop it out. I prefer to use a syringe just because it stops this from blocking it up. But yeah, even a deer wallow, I'll just take the water out of it and drink it. So yeah, I'm not carrying 3 or 4 kilos of water up the hill. I'm not interested in that. So that's what I do for my water. Long spoon, titanium spoon for getting into my meals. I carry a InReach Mini 2 and it's a satellite communicator and a PLB. Always carry that wherever I go. So cook system, I always carry a charging power bank as well, which if I do multi days I might take 2 of these, and yeah, they can charge. Yeah, so they actually work backwards. You can charge them that way in your car while you're driving, or you can actually charge stuff as you go. So often I'll give my everything a bit of a zap, And yeah, I've found carrying 20,000 milliamps of charging power is pretty much good enough for me. I don't usually charge my drone, I just fly it once and that's it, because that sucks a lot of battery. But yeah, that's a good piece of kit to have as well. Just if it gets cold, like 0 degrees, just sleep with all your batteries in your sleeping bag is my biggest piece of advice for you, because it just keeps that kinetic energy going through the batteries and they don't die on you. Carry a pretty basic first aid kit. So in that first aid kit, some wipes for when you need to go for and Panadol and ibuprofen just in a little tin, a little folding toothbrush there. Don't really carry plasters. I'm a builder and I don't really use plasters. If I get cuts, just bleed. Or yeah, I just don't use plasters. One thing I do carry for at night, it's all gone, is, oh no, sorry. Yeah, this is my toothpaste thing in here. And one thing I do carry, I put this toothpaste in this melatonin jar so that when I go to brush my teeth, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I've got melatonin in my first aid kit. So I usually pop a couple of those before I go to bed. And I've just found that you just sleep better. The first night of hunting is like the sleeping is always a bit meh. So that's kind of cool, a little tip there too. So there's some bits and pieces. Some stuff that I don't really use much at all is like I've got a Helinex chair. So this is like a 900 gram camping style chair, or if I do helicopter stuff, I have taken it a little bit, but it's just nice to have. And then I carry, same again, 900 gram MacPack little table, folding table for around camp. Sometimes they come with me as well. Usually on a helicopter trip, they'll definitely come, but if it's a backpacking trip, no way. No way. Alright, food. Food. So, here's what I do for food for a day usually. It's pretty basic. I find that when I'm out there, I don't really go through a lot of food, so let's move that over there. So obviously I'll take some hot chocolate and coffees. That's how I do it. It's just simple, just boil water. The way my food system works is just boil water. Boil water, that's all you gotta do, boil water. So I'll take some snacks like scroggin and things like that, but usually what I have is one of these puppies, one of these a day, a little bit of chocolate and some scroggin mix, and that's kind of it. I'll take my coffees, usually have 2 coffees a day, 2 or 3 coffees a day like that. A few tea bags as well. I'll have a berry smoothie, one of these backcountry smoothies every day. And that's usually at the end of the day when I'm sort of trying to get back to my campsite or I'm carrying something out. And then the way I do this is I use the Backcountry single serve breakfasts. And again, just boil, 125 ml of water, off you go. Dump it in there and you're gone. Kind of gone away from the Backcountry dinners because once you eat them for a week, you're pretty ripe. So what I actually do is grab a 2 serve like this. I'll cook it for lunch, and generally I'll eat maybe half of it for lunch, and then I just roll it up, seal it up, put it in there for dinner, and then just eat the rest for dinner. So I can do that the other way around sometimes too. I'll eat one for dinner, nice and warm, and then lunch I'll just eat it cold, don't really care. So that's what I do for food every day. So I try not to carry more than sort of 700 grams of food for a day. I found otherwise I just walk out of the bush with like 2 days worth of food. So I always do take a little bit of spare food just in case something goes wrong. But again, usually enough food for an extra 24 hours. But yeah, there you go. Next, camera gear. So I've spent a fair bit of time accumulating some camera gear and got some pretty good equipment that's quite good for hunting as well. So what I'm filming on right now is my Panasonic Micro Four Thirds G85, and I prefer using the lenses. So this one here is a fixed 42.5mm, which is probably about the equivalent of 70mm on a full frame, and it has a fixed aperture of 1.6 f7 and with a filter and all that sort of stuff on there, so that's a great lens for trophy photos and just a little bit more reach and blur in the background, so that's a cool little lens there. The one that I'm filming on now is a 15mm with an aperture of 1.7 fixed prime lens, so they are my two lenses that I use on the G85. In terms of charging those, well, my other camera here is a bridge camera, so this is the Canon SX70HS, and that is like a super zoom camera, so it goes all the way now to 1365mm, so that's a great camera actually. So that's what I'll use to take all my long shots and my recorded shooting shots. And what I do for these two cameras is I've got 3 batteries each for them, and then I've got a digital charger that I can put 1 battery of each type into that charger and charge it off my power bank. But again, guys, put your batteries, I actually carry in winter, I carry my batteries in my puffer jacket just of the cameras, because otherwise they just go flat. So that's what I use there. So they're my two main cameras. I've got the DJI Action 4, so it's a waterproof action camera, and that's kind of my close quarters in the bush thing that I turn on when I want to get the shot of me shooting the animal. So that's a good little guy there too. One thing I do use, both cameras come with Arca rails on the bottom, put those on there, and they clip into this tripod here, which is the Tricer BC tripod, and I've got a pretty decent ball head on there for panning and that as well, so that actually clips in front of my rifle as well, so the whole system kind of works together. In terms of drone, I use a DJI Mini 4 drone, so that's actually just a recent upgrade, so that's a really nice piece of kit as well, so cool little thing there. And then I use this here as a DJI Pocket 3 and with an external microphone, and this thing's probably, really, to be honest, if you're going to get into hunting and you wanted to get some pretty decent footage, yeah, that'll set you up pretty well, kind of idiot proof. Got the charging pack for that as well, which I keep on a tripod, and what I do is I can just put that tripod just around on a tree. The thing centralizes itself, and it also has a gimbal, so it gets everything flat and level and takes some really nice video there. Always carry a little mini tripod like that as well, just for whatever dynamic shots. And this is a selfie stick, which I don't really use much, but it has the same attachment to clip on and off this camera here. Just clips off its mount, and then it clicks back onto this puppy here, and then if I want to, I can just extend out and film like that. So that's pretty neat, but I don't really use it that much. So there you go. So that's all that, and that's it. That's my camera gear. So that's the camera gear I use. I have shaved quite a bit of weight down on my camera gear, so often I won't actually take my big camera unless I'm doing like a big trip. So usually I'll take this puppy and this puppy here. Sometimes I won't take my drone either. So it just depends what I'm doing, where I'm going, how far I'm going to be going. I'll just adjust my gear and go from there. But that's my camera gear, guys.